Hello! Welcome to Wheel Talk. I'm Recappa Sedai. Today we'll discuss The Eye of the World, Chapter 26, Whitebridge. In this chapter, Rand, Matt, and Thom get to Whitebridge. Duh.
Who loves long books and tiny warders? Who's so over the Amerlin's orders? Who loves making every novice cry? Recappa Sedai.
Oh, that's me! I want to start this episode with a disclaimer. I bought new wigs for Rand and Matt, but I need a hairdresser to cut them for me, and I haven't had a chance to do that. I've ruined too many wigs cutting them by myself, and I'm afraid to try again. For today's video, we're going to use these wigs that I cut myself, and therefore look shitty. If you feel a need to comment about it after the video, I completely understand. Go for it, I get it. So, spoiler-free recap. Matt, Rand, and Thom are on the spray. Thom's trying to teach Matt the flute, but Matt sucks. Rand asks Thom why he's trying so hard to train them as Gleeman's apprentices, and Thom's like, well, if it turns out your friends are dead, they're not dead. Right, Matt? Someone shouts, Whitebridge! Whitebridge ahead! Whitebridge has come into view. The bridge that gives this place its name is legendary. Rand can't believe he's seeing it. It's made of this spiderwebby white material that almost seems to glow. It almost looks like glass. Thom says, a relic from the age of legends. I've always thought it must be so. Mayhap. Do not have to be as old as all that. As they come to the dock, merchants and curious people come to see the spray. Rand doesn't see Moiraine or any of the others. As Rand, Matt, and Thom get off the spray, Bayle Domon runs up to them. You be leaving me, Gleeman. You should continue with me to Ilion. Best place for a Gleeman. Thom's like, how nice of you, thank you. Unfortunately, you took all our damn money, so I'm pretty sure we can't afford it. Aye, that was my bad. Having a Gleeman aboard was the friggin' best. Domon gives them their money back, plus a bit more, but Moiraine's coins aren't in the mix. You sure you don't want to come to Ilion? I'll double that money. We're meeting friends here, and then we're going to Camelin. We're meeting friends here, and then we're going to Camelin. Thom sulks, but he leads them to an inn called the Wayfarer's Rest. It's in a busy square, and he seems to choose the inn at random. An innkeeper greets them, and Thom asks, is there somewhere my friends and I can speak quietly? Not to be sketchy, but we're a little sketchy. The innkeeper is like, yeah, that's not sketchy at all. Take one of the tables at the far side of the room. I'll bring you wine. Also, you're a Gleeman? You should hang out. I'll give you a discount. They take a table, a low wall separates them from the rest of the room so they have some privacy. And Thom's like, did you hear him? A discount? You should be offering free rooms and rolling out the f***ing red carpet. Matt's like, why'd you bring us here? This inn sucks. Location. Trust me. I know things. The innkeeper comes back and Thom asks him for news. The innkeeper's name is Bartom and he's got the scoop. Loghain, the false dragon, has been captured and the Aes Sedai are taking him to Tar Valon. They're stopping on the way to show him off to everyone, including Queen Morgase in Camelin. Also, Ilioners have been sent out to proclaim that the Great Hunt of the Horn has been called. The Great Hunt of the Horn. I can talk. Rand says they're looking for friends, and Thom gives basic descriptions of Moiraine and the others. Bartom tenses up. He tells Thom, forget about performing here. Just finish your wine and go. Someone else has been asking after them? Bartom looks around nervously and he's like, a week ago this crazy Weasley guy came over the bridge looking for those folks. He was most interested in finding 3 country boys. Then he left for Camelin talking to himself and crying. Dude was nuts. But the other one, all in black he is, keeps his hood up so you can't see his face. His voice is super messed up. No one's ever seen him pass through the gate. Sometimes he's just there. Speaking of just there, it's fine, horse, it's fine. He wants the same lot as the crazy man. And he says there's a white-haired Gleeman with them. Just finish your wine and go. I haven't seen you. Bartom gives Thom his money back and hurries off. Thom's like, that fade's gonna come back. I say we bounce and take Domon's offer. No, we wait here or we go on to Camelin. That's crazy. You're crazy. Matt, tell him he's crazy. You want to go back to the boat, Thom? Go back to the boat. Why are you still here? Why are you being a They hear laughter on the other side of the wall. Someone shouts, Trollocs, you're drunk. Rand peeks over the low wall and sees Gelb talking to two men. Gelb says, "It's true, these three dark friends brought Trollocs down on us." Tom's like, "Change of plans! The spray's not leaving till tomorrow, and we've got to get out of here fast." They divide their money in case they're separated and climb out a window into an alley. Matt asks, "Why are you doing this? You'd be safer if you left us." "I had a nephew, Owyn. He got in trouble with Aes Sedai, and I was too late to help. Owyn died a few years later. You could say Aes Sedai killed him. If I help you, maybe I'll feel less guilty about Owyn." "What'd you think? I was doing this because I like you? No. Wait here." He leaves them and Matt asks Rand, "You believe that story?" Yeah. What's the matter with you?" "Oh, you mean besides the fact that the Shadow's hunting us?" A man in a dark cloak walks into the alley and Rand panics. But the cloaked man pushes back his hood and it's Thom, thank God. "You thought we were about to die?" That's funny. "Pull yourselves together and let's go." They step from the alley into the square. Rand glances in one direction to make sure there's no danger, and when he looks back, a Myrddraal's standing there where there wasn't one there before. The Fade moves across the square slowly like it's toying with its prey.
Gotcha. You're so screwed.
Thom has tied his Gleeman's cloak into a bundle. He gives it to Rand. "When I say run, run. And don't stop until Caemlyn. The Queen's blessing. It's an inn. Remember that." "I don't understand." "Run! The Queen's blessing! Run!" Drama! I love it. Thom pushes the boys and they run. He keeps shouting at them to run as he charges at the Myrddraal. He flourishes his daggers and the Fade's like, "Oh, Thom crashes into the Fade before it can draw its sword. They go down in a heap. The air flashes blue. Thom starts screaming, but he's also still shouting at them to run, which seems hard to do at the same time. There's a stampede of people around Rand and Matt as they run. Everyone's trying to get away. The gatekeepers barely notice Rand and Matt among the throng of Whitebridgers just storming through the gates. Rand and Matt run until Whitebridge is out of sight, and then Rand falls to his knees to catch his breath. "We have to keep going." "Thom, he's dead. Light Rand, he's dead." "You think everyone's dead." Okay, you may have a point there, but Thom is definitely dead. Rand gets up, and they start walking towards Caemlyn in silence. And that's the end of the chapter! Yes! I'd like to take a moment to thank our new Patreon members. Our new novices and soldiers. Josh, Liz. Welcome to the Littlest Tower. I'll see you at our weekly live streams. And our new Aes Sedai and Ashaman. Faral. No, let's try a different one. There we go. Congratulations on being raised! I'm gonna have Tivana arrange for a parade outside your home with dancers and monkeys and elephants. If you don't get a parade, it will be 100% Tivana's fault and she will be punished. A huge thanks to all of our patrons. This episode is brought to you by patrons. The next part of this video is the 13th Depository. I'm gonna dive deep on the chapter and there might be spoilers. So if you haven't finished reading The Wheel of Time, I recommend not watching this part. I don't want to spoil the books for you and you don't want that either, believe me. I pronounce this meeting sealed to the flame. Let's talk about the bridge that gives Whitebridge its name. We were reading this chapter in our Patreon livestream and Recappa Sedai asked a really good question. How could a bridge survive the breaking when rivers wouldn't even be in the same place afterwards? I thought that was an excellent point. According to the Wheel of Time companion, Thom is right. Whitebridge, a beautiful large structure that spanned the River Arunel in Whitebridge, giving the town its name. Built with the power during the Age of Legends, it looked as if it were made of glass. I had never thought much about Thom mentioning that the bridge was from the Age of Legends, but really, how would a bridge survive the breaking? Even if the bridge itself survived, considering what happened during the breaking, you might wonder how the bridge is still standing over the Arunel. I had fun discussing this with the patrons, and there are a few possibilities. I read a suggestion that maybe the bridge was moved after the breaking. That's interesting, and I guess it's not impossible. but it would be an undertaking of legendary proportions. Another possibility is that this area was just untouched by the breaking. That's possible. My theory is, if this bridge survived the breaking, whatever weaves were used to enforce it probably extend into the foundations beneath it. If Age of Legends Aes Sedai built this bridge to stand forever, the weaves rooting the bridge into the earth may have kept that land intact during the breaking. I don't know, that's maybe tinfoil hat, but that's what I think. I can't tell you for sure how the bridge survived the breaking, but there are ways it's possible, and I think it's a fun conversation. Speaking of fun conversations, I am beyond excited to announce that I am part of a new podcast called Tar Valon After Dark. I'm working with nae'blis, who you know from YouTube, and Jess, who you know from White Tower Pod and the Amarlin Study. They're fabulous, I love talking to them about the Wheel of Time, and I'm really excited about what we're making. This pod has Wheel of Time sketch comedy that I think all of you are really gonna like. We'll also discuss the books, news for the show, and we will dive into the show once it actually starts. I really do think this is something Real Talk viewers are gonna love. I will link our first episode in the notes. In this first episode, we talked about the Eye of the World. The actual Eye of the World, the thing. We touched on the actual Eye of the World in our last recap, and I mentioned some of my confusions about the eye. In Real Talk's comments, someone brought up the theory that the point of the Eye of the World was to show Rand saidin could be cleansed with the help of women. I thought that was really interesting, but I'm not convinced that was RJ's original intention. I brought this up with nae'blis and Jess on Tar Valon After Dark, and they both had really interesting things to say. I learned a lot about the Eye of the World recording this podcast. If you're interested in what the hell went down at the Eye of the World and hearing different perspectives on it, listen to Tar Valon After Dark's first episode, you'll love it! That's it for this episode, thank you for watching. Oh, I forgot to take my candle away. If you can like the video and subscribe to Real Talk, that would be amazing. It helps the channel. If you'd like to support Real Talk and help us continue, the best way is to sponsor the show on Patreon. There's a link in the notes. All levels of contribution are helpful and amazing. We love our patrons. And until next time, walk in the light and keep it real. They go down in a heap. God damn it, I keep spilling.